I'm here with Mr. Ken Walker. He's the owner of The Twist here in Columbia, South Carolina, and the creator of MetroYou app.
Yeah.
Man, I want to thank you for allowing me to come down here to interview you today and welcome you to my show, my channel. So can you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and where you're from?
Okay, well, I'm 33 years old. I was born here in Columbia, South Carolina, but I was raised in East Atlanta. I love it here. I moved here after college. You know, Savannah State University is where I pledged, is where I did everything that I wanted to do at. Moved here for a job. Started working for Otis Spunkmeyer, the cookie people.
Yeah.
Didn't like it, hated my job. So I decided to be an entrepreneur. And the one thing I knew how to do was food.
Right.
So I just started off, bought a shady $24.99 DVD offline and built a hot dog stand from scratch.
Wow.
Yeah. So all wooden cart. I used Harbor Freight, Lowe's, anything I could find that was pretty much eligible to use for as like a current cart. Right. Did that, and I just took off from there.
Wow. And can you tell us a little bit about what The Twist is? What is that?
The Twist came about because when I had the cart, I actually used to tell people that, you know, what kind of food do you have? And I was like, all my food has a twist to it. So it's food with a twist. And so after I won like my national competition, I didn't want to really keep my name, which was like Ken's All-Star Cart. Right. I was like, okay, cool. Let me change it to The Twist. Yeah. And I felt like that was more appropriate for like the name of my restaurant. I felt like the cart was one stage. When I got to the restaurant stage, I wanted it to be a whole different plateau.
Exactly. And what kind of food do you serve here at The Twist?
We serve seafood. So we're known for our seafood. We're known for not just the ordinary seafood. Like we do different types of seafood. Like we're known for our crab cakes especially. Like we do all meat crab cakes. So none of that filler. We don't add corn, scallions, none of that stuff that make you be like, why did I pay for this?
Right.
So yeah, we specialize in crab cakes. Actually, we hold the world's Guinness record for the world's most expensive crab cake, $310.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when did you get that recognition?
2019. It took a year to get a Guinness World Record. Yeah, it takes a long time.
Wow. And what got you into actual cooking? I know you started out with your cart, but what inspired you to start cooking?
My mom. I would definitely say my mom and my dad, but mostly my mom. I would say that because at like 10 years old, mom was just like, all right, I'm gonna stop cooking for you because when you get grown, I'm not gonna be always cooking for you. So I had to do my own dishes, everything. Like she was like, hey, I'm gonna show you how to do some things and you take it from here. Right. So almost every job that I had dealt something with food. So it kind of became like a second nature to me.
Right. And I also know that you own, you're the creator of an app called MetroYou.
Yes. MetroYou came about, actually it was an idea. So my dad writes computer software programs. So I've always dealt with programming as well, just coming up in the household. I started MetroYou, which used to be called MetroYou 55, like in 2010 when I first moved here. It was a website just to pretty much expose like small businesses, and it was like the first marketplace before Facebook did it. I scrapped the idea because I didn't think it was going to be hot, and now look at marketplace on Facebook. So I brought it back, I want to say 2019, and I was just like, let me try this again. And I wanted to create a concept for small businesses to be able to advertise, but in a newer fashion.
Gotcha. And with your restaurant business, what's unique about that business that sets you apart from other restaurants in the area?
I would say the one thing that separates us is the welcoming. First of all, when you first come in, you always get a welcome to The Twist. And there's always somebody say, welcome, welcome, welcome. So we greet you, you know, we try to make sure that you feel at home here. So that's one of the main things that we work on is pretty much customer service. The second thing is just flavor. We have to hit you with all kinds of flavor. When people think of broils, they think of everything just in the pool together. But we show you that there's layers to how you cook seafood. So we're constantly coming up with new concepts. Like one of our things is a shrimp and Philly cheesesteak. Most people just, you know, either you get shrimp or you get a Philly cheesesteak. We decided to mix it all together.
Right.
So yeah, we're doing like different concepts. We're bringing your favorite wholesome food to life. Something that you can enjoy and be like, I never thought this went well with this.
Exactly. And since we're, you know, the reason I'm here is to talk about success. Mm-hmm. So, and, you know, to help people if they want to start their own business, right. If they, you know, anything that they want to do, it's just to help folks to, you know, inspire them to maybe get out there on their own, take that chance. So how did you know you had the right idea for starting this type of business with The Twist?
I figured I had the right idea when I kept trying out different concepts. I think a lot of people are so afraid of failure that they just limit themselves to what they can do mentally. Mm-hmm. And I never really had that barrier. So when it came to food, I failed a lot. I want to say I actually failed for 4 years of my career consistently.
Wow.
It was like from 2012 when I first got started to 2016 when I finally got my big break. It was consistent trying different things, knowing the demographic, who can do this, and what are the people asking for. And I think that it takes that research. I think that a lot of people are just afraid of taking that time to learn, or the money it takes for mistakes.
Right. And starting out, how many hours would you say building your business did it take? How many hours a week or a night?
I would say starting your own business is a 60-hour to sometimes 70-hour week thing, because you're getting expired in the middle of the night. It's not a regular job. 9 to 5 doesn't mean that your brain cuts off. It means that's when everything really gets started. So you're going to be hitting a lot of those 19-hour days, sometimes 20 or better. And you're up late and you're just thinking, I might need to get some sleep, but you're so afraid of losing that big next thing that you don't want to sleep.
Right. And applied some of that with your restaurant. I'm sure that you probably applied some of that with you creating that app.
Yeah.
Were there any fears with that, or?
Yeah, I would honestly say, and you can quote me on this. The biggest fear is I'm African American and I created the app. And that's something that's really not heard of. They expect you to have a certain type of thing that flows along with you. So when you tell people that, you created an app and then they see who you are, they automatically assume that someone else either did it for you or you're advertising. They never assume that you are the founder, developer, any of that. Right. So it's not a common concept. So trying to get people on board with you sometimes is harder because they just don't see it.
Right. I got you. I totally understand what you're saying. Did you experience any adversity building this app from some of the naysayers said you can't do it? I
still experience some of that now. A lot of people are just asking me why an app, and when you ask them why not, they're just like, well, why would you want to do an app? Like, what's so big about app? And I'm asking them, what do you use every day? Like, would you ask me this question if I was a Mark Zuckerberg, if I was a Bill Gates, if I was a Jeff Bezos? Would you ask me these same questions? And it's like, are you asking me this question because of the caliber of person that you think that I am, or who you already have for me in your mindset?
Right, exactly. How do you define success?
I define success by how well you go down in history. That's my version of success. It's not really a monetary thing. It's about leaving a mark. And by mark, meaning that's something that lives on past you. That's my definition of success. So whatever I'm creating for not just my generation, but for my kids, for my kids' kids. Something that they can look back and be like, this man was great. At the end of the day, when you die, people may remember the money and may not remember you.
Right. Yeah. Now, do you think there's some kind of pattern or formula to becoming successful?
I do. I believe that the pattern, or matter of fact, I believe the formula is you getting out of your own way. And by saying this, I mean, there's a lot of fears. I go back to this fear thing because fear is what literally stops a lot of people from being successful. Everyone wants success without the fear of failure. Right. And it's not so much on themselves. They fear what other people will think about them failing. Exactly. They fear that when they create something, somebody will be like, well, didn't you fail at this? And then they'll just stop. And you can't fear that. You can't fear people's opinions of what might or could happen.
Exactly.
You have to just move along.
Exactly.
And show them. Elon Musk had 3 failed attempts before Tesla, right? And now he's successful, just past Jeff Bezos. But he had 3 failed attempts.
Exactly.
See, what most people don't want to see is they don't want the failed attempts. Just give me the success. Just give me the money. That looks real good. Exactly.
Everybody they think it's an elevator to the top, and they don't understand that they have to take the stairs to get to the top.
They don't want to hold the rails either.
Well, with that, man, you kind of hit on it a little bit, but what are some of the mistakes you wish you didn't make or you could have avoided when starting your business, both businesses?
I definitely say with food, it was hard because where I wanted to go, and like my mistakes were, I really didn't study the demographic when I started off. I thought I could just come here with some great concepts of food and it should take off, not knowing that this is the South. When I started off with the food truck, I'm like, man, I'm gonna be out here all times a day. But once again, this is not like a New York or DC or something like that. People only eat here between 11 and 2:30. After that, they're trying to go home to a dinner or a bar.
Right.
They're not really interested in the food truck. So I had to cut down my time and then make it more convenient for people to come to me. So those are things that I wish I would have learned about more before I just jumped into it head first.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Well, were your parents entrepreneurs? Where do you get your entrepreneurial spirit from?
I would definitely have to say that my mom, she's definitely an entrepreneur. My dad is too. They've all created businesses. My dad does contract work now. My mom she sews. She does anything she can get her hands on. So I definitely say I get that from them. But most importantly, I want to give it to like my dad, because he used to sit me in, like, my dad used to travel out of town a lot. So he used to sit me in meetings, and then he would be like, hey, what do you think about this? He used to tell me about his meetings. So he used to actually, I was his child, but I was also his student at the same time. And growing up in Atlanta, the black success rate was a lot higher. So when I used to see people, my dad used to always every weekend take me downtown, and I would see cars. I'm like, man, it's a nice car.
Right.
And then I would just, my dad would be like, hey, well, stop talking to him. And I would be like, hey, how'd you get this car? Oh, I own this business. It wasn't just an employee. It was just like, oh, you own this.
Right. And
I was so intrigued that these guys who look just like me were driving these nice cars. They weren't just driving it for people. They were the owners.
Right.
And I was just like, wow, how can I get to this concept? And I noticed the one thing that they all said, no matter who they work for themselves.
Exactly.
And I wanted that. I wanted that more than anything.
Exactly. Because it's yours. It's your
yours.
Baby. It's what you make it.
Right. No one can take that away from me.
You talked a little bit about sacrifice that your dad made by going out of town a lot. With starting a business, or with your businesses, were there any sacrifices that you had to make?
Yeah. As you can see, fraternity. So we like to go out. We like to take trips and stuff like that. It was a lot of times I had to tell friends, even frat brothers, that I can't do it. I can't go out. I can't spend this money. I can't do this. Even though I wanted to. I wanted to be there. I wanted to be on Instagram taking pictures on the beach. Who doesn't?
Right.
Exactly. But I just couldn't afford to. And where I wanted to go, it took sacrifice.
Exactly.
And so I had to sacrifice that time, that energy, that effort, and even that money. Sometimes you just got to put it up when you want to go out.
Exactly.
You got to put that money up and be like, okay, well, I'm going to try this idea next week, and I'm going to need this amount of money to do it. So, hey, either I can have fun at home or buy some of the cheapest, smallest alcohol I can
find. And some of those folks that you push aside to start your business, they may not be as far ahead because all they want to do is party sometimes.
Right.
And then they look back at you, and we talked about some of the adversities, but some of those adversities come from that. Some of those people sometimes we experience, they're sitting back, oh man, he didn't come here, he didn't come there. But then, when you build your successful business as you have, and then you created your app, they want to talk bad about you. They want to, it's crazy.
People don't, sometimes when they fear these things because they can't do it themselves. So they talk bad about it in hopes that it distracts you or somehow you stop doing what you're doing. And then even in the other course, sometimes you have those same people that were talking about you that now need your help because now they feel like, wait, you sacrificed, so now I can probably learn from you. I'm sorry that I said this when I said it, but hey, can you help me now?
Exactly.
And you just like, listen, I sacrificed in my 20s, and they looking like, well, dog, you sacrificing in your 20s, I'm in my 30s now. I'll be about 40 something to do it. So, it's always a time frame. I'm just like, you have to figure out when you want to sacrifice because it's going to take time regardless.
Exactly.
When do you want to take this time?
Exactly, man. I hear it all the time and I see it all the time. What has been your greatest inspiration starting both of your business?
Greatest inspiration, I would definitely say for food, my biggest inspiration was probably me. And I think that became apparent when I just quit my job at a whim. I put in a 2 weeks notice and I was just like, you know what? I don't really have to listen to you. This is not for me. And I want to say that I had two big inspirations. One is Left Eye from TLC. I used to cut her grass back when I was like 8, 9, all the way until she passed away. She passed away a day before my birthday. I was born on April 26th. She passed away on 25th. She used to always come out and have talks with me. And her talks were always inspirational. Like, I would cut her grass in wintertime. Clearly, there's no grass. Right. And she was like, just bring a lawnmower anyway. And she stayed like 2 neighborhoods over from my parents. And just talking to her and seeing how genuine she was like, hey, you can do the same thing. Like, she would bring you to the house. You were talking about different things. She would tell you about her career, some of the mistakes that she made. And then she would always tell you how much she believes in you and encourages you. Wow. And so seeing this superstar that's just literally paying you $100 every 2 weeks to cut the grass and sometimes not even there, invest into you starts to make you think like, okay, maybe I really do have this juice. And it's not that my parents didn't instill it, in me. It's just that when you have these different individuals who talk to you and put this information into you, you start to believe it.
Exactly. And a lot of us don't have that.
Right.
At least you had it, especially come from some of the places we come from. We just don't have that, So that's excellent. She was able to instill that in you and push you to where you are today.
Oh, yeah.
What's been your greatest accomplishment in business?
Greatest accomplishment in business, I would definitely have to say my first biggest one was I want to say last year, matter of fact, 2 months ago, I was able to actually feed 80 families with a local black farmer. And I used that. And I've always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to just hand out, not just the food or like the plates or anything, like groceries. I've always wanted to be that person to hand out food, just to see people's experiences and be like, wow, he's doing it. Maybe I can do it. I wanted to start a trend on trying to just push people to give more, stop taking as much and start to give more. I would definitely say that was one of my key things. Second thing is when I won the National Food Truck Competition. When I won that was at the height, one of the best things that ever happened to me in life, because that was a situation that wasn't even supposed to happen. I actually declined the phone call twice when they called me.
Wow.
They said, hey, Ken, we want to enter you into this National Food Truck Competition. I'm just like, I went through 4 years of failing, so I'm just like, yeah, right. Click. They sent me emails and everything, and finally they got me on the phone. It was like, hey, we're serious. We want you in this national Thomas English Muffin competition. And I was like, okay. So they sent me a link. I was like, oh, so this is real.
Right.
Then they send you a check. You cash the check, you're just like, wow, so this is a real check that I get. But now I had like limited amount of times. I had to come up with like a sandwich for the competition.
Right.
It was a 5-week competition. I came up with a sandwich called a Pineapple Express. One of my favorite movies, James Franco, Seth Rogen, it was the whole thing. I came up with the Pineapple Express, and it was 5-week competition. It was me versus every other state in the United States.
Right.
So I'm just like, I'm happy to be here. I was one of those type of people. But then I started to be like, I belong in this competition. This is a food truck competition. I have a car. Let's do it. So 5 whole weeks, I'm getting people to vote in, do this, try my food, vote.
Right.
And every week, everyone started getting knocked out. Final 2 weeks, it was me, New York City, and California. We knocked out California. No, we knocked out New York City. Then it was just me versus California. And we all know how big the food truck scene is in California. So I was just like, all right, I got to get ready. And I ended up blowing them out of water by like over 300,000 votes.
Wow.
Won $25,000. Didn't have to check out a loan for this place.
Wow.
So yeah, it was like I went down in history as the first African American to ever win a national food truck competition.
Man, that's incredible.
Yeah. So I was like, once I won that, I was like, oh yeah, the world is my throne.
Gave you that extra inspiration.
Right.
What has been your favorite aspect of becoming an entrepreneur?
The freedom. I love the freedom. I can't say that enough. Just the fact that you control your destiny. I don't have to clock in. I don't have to worry about if my boss is in a bad mood, how that's going to affect my day. I am the boss.
Exactly.
So no, and I make sure that I treat my employees as well, because they know that I'm not going to ask you to do something that I haven't already done.
Exactly. And that's key.
That's key.
You know what I'm saying? And that way that you build that following with them.
Right.
And that loyalty, they'll stick with you.
Exactly. I'm not a dictator at all. I'm a leader. There's a difference.
Well, what are your company goals for both your restaurant and your creating your app?
I would say definitely short-term goals for the restaurant would be to become a national staple. Well, actually become a staple here in South Carolina, to where this is a place that you find me in the Traveler's Guide to where you want to come visit when you visit South Carolina. National goals is to be worldwide recognized. Right now, I've pretty much accomplished everything from TV shows to different types of awards. I've done everything that I wanted to do. So now it's about having outreach programs and probably like different restaurant franchises in certain places. But more importantly, just showing in the outreach programs how you can build a brand.
Exactly.
For my app, I want my app to be the new form of Google. That you pull this out anytime you want to know any information about anything. So that means that if you want to find out information about, well, when is this business open? All you have to do is open up my app, and my app will literally tell you the days, the time they're open, the video, and actually give you all the social media links. Everything is at your fingertip.
Wow.
Therefore, you never have to open any kind of search engine to do this.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's incredible, man. That's going to be a lot of, something that everybody actually needs.
Yeah. It's a way to, the app was created to help small businesses. So all I have to do is literally open up the camera, hover over any word. And then if you have like a business, like most people right now, and I would definitely say this, most people right now are using QR codes and they think that they're hot. When you go to restaurants and say, hey, point the camera at the QR code, get the menu. That is so outdated. I'm here to say, be the very first person to say that is outdated. What's happening right now is you don't have to use QR codes. You're not a grocery store. I don't need to scan everything like as far as QR codes. I can actually use your logo. Wow. I can take your logo and I can make that a video itself. Wow. QR codes only take you to a website. So what I do with QR, what I do with AR itself is I can take you to a website, your social media account, I can play a video, you can text, you can call, you can do all that. So it's not just one link.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely going to download that one.
Yeah, download MetroYou app. Download it.
Given, obviously, we're talking about success and how people can be successful and, create things for themselves. What's some advice would you give someone starting out, wanting to start their business?
Advice starting out is stop thinking and do it. I feel like the successful businesses started. The unsuccessful businesses are still in your head because a lot of people think that they need a lot of things to get started, which is crazy to me. You ever have those friends that's like, oh, I need this before I start my business. Right. Oh, I need to grab a couple of these before I start my business. Oh, I don't have my logo yet. And it's kind of like, you need all that just get started? Exactly. Like you can't just get started and then just put the stuff together. A lot of times we spend so much time thinking that we're getting ready that, time has passed by. Exactly. And your idea may be gone or your concept may be gone. Exactly. Like just get started. Figure out the rest. Come on, man.
Take the action.
Take the action. That's key.
Exactly. It's going to fall into place eventually.
Thank you. Everyone wants to be perfect starting off. And I'm just like, no. Because you're going to it's like college. When you get out, you're an undergrad and you still don't know everything that there is to know about your major. You're going to learn as it goes.
Exactly. And figure it out. Well, listen, man, I've enjoyed talking to you. Yes, and I really appreciate you allowing me to come down here to speak to you about success. And like I said, the goal is to help anyone that's wanting to, start their own business. It doesn't have to be business. It can just be inspirational for someone that's going through something. Sure. So your words, your energy that you bring to my show, I really appreciate it, man. You're very upbeat. You brought it. So I really appreciate that, man. Thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you for this. You channel everything. I'm trying to say, there are new plateaus that we need to be reaching. And I love it, the fact that we're in the, technology field now to where we're starting to get more. It's not just manual labor. And now we're starting to use a lot of this to get the same results. I love it. Exactly. I love it.
Well, again, thank you, man.
No problem. Look, I appreciate you coming this far as Columbia. I know it's kind of wet, have you out here on this day, but I thank you for it, man. Sincerely, I appreciate it.